Sara, everyone. Hello again. I want to start off this second episode officially. I mean, it really is the first because I really didn't answer a whole lot of questions in the first episode. It was more like an introduction. I knew that a lot of you had a lot of questions for me, but holy shit, I didn't realize there would be that many. I mean, not that I'm complaining, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I wasn't even going to do another one of these for a little while and give you guys a lot of time to ask questions, but you've already asked a lot, so I have to do one already. So the remaining phrase of the day that I'm going to teach you, or of the episode, I guess, that I'm going to teach you is, I actually was asked a question about how to say this in Romanian. So therefore, it is going to be the phrase of this episode, and that is, te iubesc, which means I love you. Obviously, I hear this phrase from the children and such on a regular basis, but Alfred has actually recently learned it, and so it's taken him, quite a few months to learn it, and his accent is terrible, and he only pronounces it right about half of the time, but it's the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, before this turns into an entire episode centered around Alfred, I'll continue on, okay? So onward to your little bit about, Romanian fact, history. I wanted to talk a little bit in this episode about my flag, which is this right here. You probably can't see it for shit, but, it's the one I have access to at the moment. The Romanian flag, made up of 3 colors, blue, red, and yellow, and each color sort of represents one of the children. The red represents Moldavia or Caesar, the yellow represents Wallachia or Radu, and the blue represents Transylvania or Košmina. Okay, I will admit that I sort of stole the design from Francis a little bit, but I really liked, the tricolor thing, so I didn't want it to be too complicated, because I've had other designs for the flag in the past, and I like this one the best. It's simple, and it's got my children on it, so I know that wasn't much of a history bit, really, but wanted to tell you a little bit more about the flag so you'd understand, and I also have all of these shit ton of questions to answer right now. Alright, here we go. Pirate and Elf asked me, are you hoping to be cast in the lead role for Austria's new opera he's working on, or would you rather have nothing to do with it? Do you even like Austria? I actually really adore Austria. A lot of people think he's very pompous and sort of snobbish, but I adore Austria. Roderick and I share a love for music. Now, not a whole lot of people realize just how into music I really am. I do a lot of singing, and I play piano, and I play violin. Do I think I'm going to get the lead role? I don't know about that, but I mean, I have been singing for Austria for a very long time, centuries, and he likes the fact that as a vampire I don't have to necessarily breathe. I can hit ridiculously high or low notes because, vampire. So I think, for those reasons mostly, Austria really likes putting me in his operas. And Košmina too. Košmina does a lot of it. She's a very good soprano. And again, she doesn't have to breathe, and she can hit ridiculously high notes. So, of course, Roderick eats that right up. I have no idea how to pronounce this name, so I'm just going to go with it. Yoiko Arigi? I don't know, whatever it is. Asked me this. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being not at all and 10 being the best, how well do Skittles... How well do Radu and Caesar get along? On a scale of what? It depends on the week. There are times when they don't get along. They're at each other's throats, and there are other times when, they sort of hang out and they like spending time with each other. But they usually are bickering. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, back when they were first embraced, they got along a lot better. A lot has happened since then. I think back when they were first embraced, I probably would have called it about a 7. Now it's probably like a 3 or so, which is so terrible. I really need to get them to start spending more time with each other. Vex Anderson asked, what will your next episodes about yourself... I don't understand these questions. What will be your next episode? What will the next episodes be about? About Gakuen or something? I don't even know what that word means. I think it's Japanese, isn't it? Will your relationship be like special or tragedy in the future? I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. I really have no... Are you asking me to have like to tell you the future or something? I'm so confused. But if I better understood the question, I could answer it, but I really don't understand the question. Okay, another one I can't pronounce. Azarnedal? I don't know if that's right or not. Why does Hungary want to beat you with a frying pan? What did you do to make her so angry? You know what? I'm gonna wait, because I know there's another question later on where someone else asks about Hungary. I'll get to Hungary shortly. Karina Bunny asks, what kind of food do you and Alfred enjoy eating together? And do you have any hobbies? I don't eat. I drink blood. I don't eat human food. I will occasionally have a little bit of chocolate or ice cream or something, because those are really good. When I do eat human food, it's sweet things. I really sort of like sweet things. Vampires cannot digest human food very well. In fact, it makes us sort of sick. Not like I have a cold, I'm sick, but like I feel like my insides are coming out sick. So we try to avoid human food. Sometimes I put up with it so I can have sweet things, but for the most part I don't eat. I watch Alfred eat. Do I have any hobbies? I have a few. I like to read a lot. I obviously, like I mentioned earlier, I sing and play piano and violin. I do a lot of sort of types of divination. Runes, which are right here. I suppose you could consider magic a hobby, I guess. You know, making potions and, you know, alchemy and such. I really like alchemy. Screwing Alfred is a hobby, right? Chance Curtis asked, Romania, why do you hate Hungary? I'll get to Hungary in a moment. Tony Stark says, I know it's odd to see me, Tony Stark, here, but aren't you one of America's superheroes? Is that the deal? Like, aren't you Iron Man? Anyway, who do you like and why? What do you mean, who do I like? As in, just in general, who do I like? As friends? I mean, obviously, I like Alfred. I like Alfred the most. I like my children. I like Arthur most of the time. I like Bulgaria, who hasn't been over in forever, but I like Bulgaria. I like Austria, like I said. I like Francis, Norway, Denmark. It actually might be easier to give you a list of who I don't like. So I'll do that. Hungary, and the Netherlands. Ellie Dusk asked, why do you have such disdain for both your sons? I don't know why you would think that. I adore both of my sons. I mean, they may not be biologically mine like Koshmine is, but I adore Radu and Cesar, and the only sort of issue that I've had with them and vice versa is you know, Alexandru. And needless to say, everything that happened made me temporarily lose a little bit of trust in each of them. And vice versa, I think. I think they were also a little bit, you know, hurt by how I treated them at the time. And I'd like to think that since then we have repaired our relationship, or at least we are on our way to repairing our relationship about that. Music Flag 23 asked, what's it like living for thousands of years and making friends that are mortal, then knowing they will eventually die? Well, it sucks. Pun intended, okay? Most of the friends I have now are nations, which helps because while nations aren't necessarily immortal, they have much greater lifespans than normal humans do. I don't really do a whole lot of socializing with regular humans unless, obviously it's a political situation or if they are dinner. Megan Barrett wants to know what do you think of Bulgaria? And I answered this sort of a minute ago. Bulgaria, or Victor as I know him, and I lived together with Russia shortly after World War II, up until recent, a few 20 years or so ago. I had never officially met Victor until then. I mean, we are neighbors. As nations, we're neighbors, and so, our leaders and such had worked with each other and all of that. But I had never officially met Victor face to face until we were both together in Russia. This is a very long story, so I'm not going to get into that. Victor was terrified of me at first, and I eventually broke him down a little, and we became very good friends. A little more than that for a while. And Victor and I are very close, but there are a lot of things about me that Victor doesn't really understand. And the whole vampire thing is definitely on the top of that list. And so, for his own protection, I mostly decided that it was probably good if we were just friends, and he seemed to be okay. He seems to be okay with that. 'Cause I can 274 asked, what do you do to piss off Hungary so bad? I mean, dude, she wants to kill you. Alright, let me discuss Hungary, since like 4 people at least asked. 1,000 years ago, roughly, Elizabeta, Hungary, as a country, invaded my land and took some of it. She took my daughter, kidnapped her away from me while we were in school. How she managed that, considering she was in school at the time as well, I have no idea. Probably had something to do with her leaders in army or something. But anyway, long story short, she kidnapped my daughter Kozmina out from underneath me. I had to fight to get her back for 400 damn years at least. I have since been fighting with Hungary over Transylvania for pretty much since then. I don't know why she hates me. I don't really get an answer when I ask. I get a frying pan to the head. So I don't ask anymore. She revels in calling me a dog at every opportunity. She names her pet dogs after my leaders. And she held my daughter prisoner for centuries. That is why I hate Hungary. Once and for all, for the record, that is why I hate Hungary. I have no idea how to pronounce this name, and I'm not even going to try it. Yes, I am. That is so long. Okay, this is the question. They asked how much I love Alfred. How much do you love Alfred? I love Alfred enough to sacrifice my own life to save him from vampirism. That's how much I love Alfred. Lizzie Rizui? Maybe? Wants to know, what do you love most about Alfred? Don't just say everything. And also, if you could change something about Alfred, what would it be? I think what I love the very most about Alfred is that he seems on the outside to be very selfish and very self-absorbed and very arrogant, but underneath all of that front, that face that he puts on, he is entirely selfless. If you meant anything to Alfred, he would give you the shirt off his back if he thought it would help you. Alfred would sacrifice everything for the people he loves. That's what I love the most about Alfred. The most. I love everything else about him too, but that's what I love about him the most. If I could change anything about him, what would it be? Honestly, I wouldn't change a damn thing, because if I changed anything, then he wouldn't be exactly Alfred anymore. But if there was anything like a bad habit or something that I would like for him to, maybe change, something like that, the burgers, man, the burgers. I know he loves the cheeseburgers, but that's all he eats. That is the one thing I might not change entirely, but tweak a little, maybe. So that, he could maybe eat vegetables every now and then. I tell him to eat vegetables. He says I put it on a burger and there's vegetables on the burger. Winter Nightfall wants to know, have you told Alfred in detail about your relationship with Alexandru? If not, do you ever plan to? I have not told Alfred about Alexandru. First of all, I just don't know how to bring it up. I'm not the type of person to just sit around and talk about my exes with the person I'm currently with. And, and the other reason I haven't told him is that, good God, that situation was so chaotic and ridiculous. I don't want it to freak him out. I don't want I don't want him to know that all that bullshit happened here where he's staying. I don't want to freak him out. But I know that I need to explain all of that to him eventually. I just haven't yet. Marceline206 says, Romania, have you ever played with Alfred's little cowlick thingy? I don't know what it's officially called. As nations, we've sort of adopted the word that Japan coined it as, and that is ahoge. Yes, I play with Alfred's ahoge all the damn time, every chance I get, because it drives him insane. 686 Tay says, what's your favorite color? Red. But I like darker colors like black and such too, but then I obviously like blue and yellow because they're on my flag, but red is my very favorite. And yes, partly because it is the color of blood. But also because I just really like the color. Jeff the Killer Girl asked, are you going to tell Alfred about Alexandru? I sort of already answered that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tay asked, what would you do if Alfred was bullied and couldn't defend himself or couldn't do anything about it? Well, I would handle it much in the same way that I did when I was in school and the Bad Touch Trio would bully Arthur. I would have a little talk with whoever was doing the bullying, and if the talking didn't work, I would take magical action. I don't ever really having to see myself do that with Alfred, because Alfred is very capable of taking care of himself in most situations. And I only say most because Alfred and the supernatural clash sometimes. He's learning, but he doesn't know enough to take on a werewolf, for example, or an ancient vampire, or, a ghost or something. That shit sort of freaks him out. Emerald's Traveler wants to know, are some vampires more affected by the sun than others? Yes. Basically the rule is, the older you are, the less affected by the sun you are. I'm almost 2,000 damn years old. I can go outside during the day without too much trouble. It's a little bit painful and it's very bright, but it's not going to hurt me or kill me. Newborn vampires, on the other hand, have quite a bit of trouble with the sun because, they're newborns. They haven't figured out quite how to use, their powers and their magic and such. But, it's not going to kill them. It's just a matter of how painful it is. Sea Mistress 89 asked, so this is more a curious question, but if you, Hungary and America were stuck on a deserted island, and Hungary was cock-blocking you for the most part the whole time, and no, rescue's not coming anytime soon, how long do you wager it would take for World War III to break out? And America is trying to keep you from World War III for the most part too. Okay, so I assume that what you're saying is Hungary, America, and I are on a deserted island, and Alfred is trying to keep me from breaking out into war with Hungary. How long do I think that would take before Hungary and I started fighting? 5 seconds. Maybe 10. No more than a minute. I'm serious. Black Diamond Wolf asked if Alfred has ever tried to play with my curl thingy, which I assume you mean my hoge, which is under the hat. Has he ever tried to play with it? He tries all the time. Whenever the hat is off, he's playing with it. We sort of have a hoge wars sometimes, where we try to see who breaks first. Okay, so finally, I'm at the end of the list of questions that you guys had. So, if you have more, which I hope you do, if you have more, scroll down, type your comment, press enter on your keyboard, I'll see it, I'll answer it in episode 3 of this vlog thing that I'm doing. But before I go, I want to know from those of you who are watching this shit, if there was one special thing that you'd want to see on an episode of this, what would it be? That's my question to you. I answered yours, now you answer mine, okay? And I will try to see what I can do as far as fulfilling that request. So until then, take your best to every single one of you out there. I really appreciate all the feedback and the comments that you guys left so far, so keep doing it.